When I was studying at London School of Theology, there was a greenhouse. It was at the back of the site, completely out of the way, and somewhere that no one ever really went. Or almost nobody. The greenhouse also doubled as a smoking shelter. And I'm not sure if that was official or unofficial. I don't think it looked good for students of a Bible college to all be hanging around outside the site having a fag. And so the small number of students who smoke inevitably found their way there into the dirty, dusty old greenhouse with the broken chairs to have a quiet smoke. Now, one summer, a couple of the more enterprising students, looking at the rundown brick and glass greenhouse, decided to make something of it. They spent hours fixing it up and cleaning it until it looked as good as new. I don't think they really knew that it doubled up as a smoking shelter, although from the amount of cigarette butts, I think they could have guessed. But they planted the most amazing grapevine, which just grew and grew in a way that I didn't know grapes could grow in the UK. And the grapes, they really grew. Maybe they feasted on all the excess nicotine or something, but the grapes looked amazing. They didn't taste quite so good. As hard as the student gardeners tried, a smoking shelter was not a suitable environment for growing produce. In our reading today, Jesus is talking about the vine and the branches, and he emphasises how, in order to bear good fruit, the branches need to be tended properly. And this is something we all need to think about in our own relationships with him. Jesus says, "My Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful." We all need a bit of pruning from time to time. We need shaping and correcting. Sometimes we even need transplanting to be given new soil to grow in. It's easy for us to get stuck in our ways, particularly, I think, if we've been following Jesus for a long time. We become complacent and think that all the pruning is done. We know that we're not perfect, but we convince ourselves that our imperfections are only small and don't matter so much. Or that it's too late for us to change now those things about us we know are not quite as God wants them. But Jesus wants us all to bear good fruit. And that means we all need to be pruned. Not just of the old things we've done, but of the new bad habits maybe that we pick up. We need to continue to be open to being changed, to change the patterns of our behaviour and thought, to change some of what we believe about God, about other people, about the way the world works and the way it should work. We need to be ready to be pruned and to be ready for God to prune the bits of our lives that he wants to change. To make changes in us that he wants to change, which might be different from the bits that we're happy for him to change. I'd encourage you, spend some time in prayer today, asking God to show you what might need to change. And asking him to start working with you to make those changes. Tomorrow we're going to be reading the end of John 15 together, verses 18 to 27.